my checkers and pleasers alike, and welcome to our show, Checkpoint, the show where we discuss and discern the current events of the most recent episode of Check Please. Today we are discussing Check Please, episode 27. I would love to welcome our family members today. I guess we're family today. I'm Keni.
Love you, fam.
I'm Keni, your fortunate host. Foaly as my co-host, hungry for answers.
Nom nom nom. Hello, everyone.
Beardy, our beloved DM daddy.
Hello.
Skrewy, our rock hard holy man.
Hello.
Grem, our robot master and beloved gnome.
Hi.
And Xeno, our swamp witch swarmonger.
It's me. I'd be here too.
So it's good to have you all. Is this the third or the fourth one? Maybe second one since we started doing live games. Third?
I think it's third.
Third?
This is our third, yeah.
We've had one for each new Check Please streamed, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to have this.
Yeah.
So, a lot of conversations happened in the most recent episode. We started it out with finally planting some evidence on Galerius. Just a question. Maybe this is more for Beardy.
We keep saying that. We definitely didn't
planting
plant
evidence.
it. That is a different thing.
Oh, sorry. I guess I just don't think about that word at all when I'm talking.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I
planting
probably am
is
saying
Found
things wrong.
evidence.
Yeah.
Found
Planting
evidence?
evidence would be if there wasn't evidence and then we
Fabricated.
created some.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
That was
fabricated.
plan B. I mean, as
I
I
far
never
as
said I was a
Yes.
well-educated person.
Either way, your plan was to, Galerius was going down. for
The
this
plan
crime.
was to plant
Much.
the crime on him. I think that's what I keep thinking.
That's even.
No,
That's the
you
same-
want to pin the crime on.
Isn't that the same
You
thing?
want to prove
No.
that he did it.
That's
what you want.
I'm really bad at verbiage for this. I do
No.
apologize.
You're good. It's all.
Yeah. In criminology, plant is a term to fabricate, illegally and immorally fabricate evidence.
Like if we opened up his closet, there was no mask or cloak, but we somehow knew what it looked like, so we made a mask and cloak and then put it in his closet.
Which, again, a solid plan B.
Yeah.
Is it
I mean-
really immoral if the guy's a dick?
Right?
Yes.
Yeah. I
Like,
mean, his biggest crime, wanting to raise taxes.
It's awful.
I mean,
I mean, his biggest
be
crime was
honest.
murdering his predecessor.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the biggest crime that was the crime specifically that we were investigating.
I have a
And that's where it
question.
did point.
Yeah. What's up?
Is the Vice Gov going to survive the Gios by the time he gets to Proto if he doesn't confess by then?
Well, no, because it's hold on.
Because it goes like all of his stat scores go down by 3 every day, right?
Yeah, and to get to Proto is 47.
Yeah, more than 3 days. So
Uh,
if he was an average human.
It's about 53 days travel.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
Proto.
very
From a
painful.
Yeah, and if he loses 3 points of every ability score per day, he's not making it that
He's
long.
not gonna
But
make
if he
it.
confesses every day, then
Well, he
He
just
only
has to
confessed
confess
once.
once.
and then
Yeah,
it's
if he
over.
confesses once, it's over. The spell ends.
I told him
Does
it
he
was
get
going to
his-
be very painful for him if he doesn't do it, so...
Yeah.
Does he get his points back if he confesses, or is that permanent?
No. It is
It
ability
wears
score
off.
damage that will heal over time, 1 per day.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
At a certain
But he
point,
will
though, even if
die.
he doesn't drop down to
Absolutely.
0. Is he going to be? He'll become like sub-sentient intelligence, won't he?
No, that's death.
Yeah, then you just.
Most ability score 0 is your death.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but I mean, if it's dropping down to like 1 or 2 before it like drops under 0,
Yes, he
kinda
does. He does progressively get dumber. It's like a fever.
so
Yeah.
he'll be a
Yeah.
babbling idiot, unable to confess. So if he doesn't confess soon, and then
Well, that's also assuming his intelligence is his lowest score.
Yeah.
It's probably his highest stat, to be honest.
which is that? So they don't all go down at
So
once. It's just
They all go down.
They all
once.
go
The
down.
first one to hit
3.
0 kills him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All of his stats go down by
Okay.
3 per day.
Thank you.
So that's why I was like, I don't know if he's gonna make it.
It's gonna be his con or his strength that'll kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's smart enough to realize that this isn't gonna end well for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he pretty much knows he's fucked at this point.
Yeah.
There's not much question about that.
Yeah.
But he only has to be honest about what happened, right? So if he genuinely was innocent, could he say that and have the Gias end, or does the Gias?
Well, he
require
had to
that
say like
confess to the
any
crime, whether he's
hand
guilty or
that
not?
he had part in the murder.
Yeah.
I was very specific.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he could
Yeah.
be fine if he said I had no part in it.
Yeah, he
And
could have been.
if that was the truth. Okay.
If it was the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, do we think he's
So-
guilty or not?
You know, I don't know.
Parker's
I think
guilty.
so. I definitely, after, like, I feel it's very in character to have overthought it and assumed that there was more to it than that. And it definitely seemed pretty open and shut, all in all, given that, like, we found evidence, everything tied together, and then we actually arrested the fucker. We didn't just have to, like, fight out of the city or something, like I thought we would.
Yeah, because I mean, if you had you done that, Akomius probably would have fallen into like complete disarray. It would have
Right.
been chaotic, and there would have been a lot of bloodshed.
Yeah,
That,
which is what I was trying to avoid.
That smirk from the garrison commander when we the fact that we were trying
Well,
to take
that's-
down
Well, yeah,
Galerius.
That's why I sense motive to him.
right.
Yeah, but that's because
Sensibly.
Galerius is a dick.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's because the
He's
guy's
like-
a dick and he knows it.
He's
For
like,
a
oh,
moment there, it
finally.
was like, shit, it's deeper than we thought. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's why I
the
was
stitch was the
worried.
innocent man.
No, this guy is a military man, and
Were you ever in the
military-
military, Skrewy?
No, but I know I have two
Thank-
family
But I played one on
in-laws
TV.
that
Yeah.
are I have in-laws that are family members, and at least as far as they're colonels, and
Mhm.
they're straight
KFC.
fucking laced.
No porn.
But yeah, no. But Skrewy has never been in the military, but Petravian used to be. So thank you for your service.
I just love that Petravian is having to sort of confront the sins of his past and is actually now realizing that the military is not maybe what his glistening image of it was.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's really fun because, like, season 1 Petra, I think unintentionally on Skrewy's part, carried a bit of this with him. And but it worked out. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I can totally see why he didn't think of like, comparatively to these guys, he was being pretty low key. Threatening to hurt people is a lot better than just torturing them on suspicion.
Mm-hmm.
Raise your hand
So-
if Petravian threatened you in season 1.
Are you okay, Beardy?
I got threatened a lot. I get threatened more than anyone.
I mean, that's true.
By me mostly.
He didn't threaten
Yeah.
Paris though, did he? Wait, no, he did.
I think he
No,
did.
I did not.
I'm pretty sure he did.
You even threatened
I'm pretty sure you
Nessa.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I
feel
remember
bad
the one
about
with
that.
Paris.
Poor.
I don't
innocent
remember what it
Nessa.
was you said, but I remember when it happened. But we're getting off track.
Mm.
Ah,
Oh,
I do
Petra.
that.
but we love you for it.
Hopefully your next character won't threaten everyone and we'll get along with everyone better.
I'll get some
I think they will.
t-shirts. We'll get t-shirts that say, I got threatened by Petravian.
I know, right?
That's all I got was a stupid T-shirt.
Yeah. Oh man. So everybody else has one that says that, and then Skrewy just gets one that just says Petravian. Perfect.
Writing that down.
Like when we go to cons, it'll be the best because we'll each have like synchronized outfits for every single day.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Oh, that'll be good. One day we'll have a live show. Mark my words.
That'll be fun. Yeah, so I think that he did it. As much as my brain's always like, ooh, but what if? But no, I
Yeah,
think
same.
he had the stuff in his house, so it's like, yeah.
Well, and there is like an interest, like the fact that he, well, okay, there is one thing that when we were leaving, that I was thinking about, which is that this did all work out very conveniently for any resistance in Icomia. Like, not only did the guy who was like framing them actually get caught, but now there's two. Like they're down any sort of top-ranking leadership until they ship someone else in, and like, yeah, I was like, so there was there maybe is a little bit of suspicion for me still that I was like, man, it did work suspiciously well for one party.
Which
Yeah.
party?
involved. The Iconian rebels.
I don't know about that because they're going to be bringing in another governor who might be far worse.
He might
because
be. but
Apparently,
they got
Apius
time.
was like the
really nice one.
nicest
Right.
of them.
The nicest, but what's his face? Galerius was probably average. I imagine they're probably going to be at worst as bad as him, and it's still going to be a couple months before they show up.
They've
So they got time to prepare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like we got the right person, but it's entirely like player knowledge, because Beardy mentioned last time that he had expected us to finish it up by the end of the last session, and I don't feel like it could have been more complicated with that expectation.
That too.
It was pretty straightforward, I think. You guys were just very careful.
I think the issue was that there was no way for us to definitively, like, go to anyone to solve this in a way. Like, typically I'd be like, oh, we go to like the Iconian like king or something. But no, the people who live there were being invaded by the Proteans, and the Proteans that we would have had to talk to was the guilty party.
Right, exactly.
So I was like,
I mean,
I also think I think we're second guessing it because we succeeded.
A little bit, yeah.
Maybe. I mean, there is the. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you guys solved the first murder mystery I ever handed you, so...
I guess it didn't feel like it when it happened.
No, you did. You all worked together.
Themselves,
no. You found the rocks that led to them.
I suppose.
Or puddles.
Yeah, there was plenty of hints.
We're just not used to the victory in this game.
I mostly wanted you guys to convict Pringle.
I mean, Vera did.
I don't know. You guys survived this long.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
hence
true.
fortune's favor.
Yeah.
You're somehow fucking alive.
I don't know that we won every challenge. There have been a lot of challenges we've come across where death was not the failed state.
No, that's true. Like the mines near the beginning, that was one where death was the progression state.
Well, sure. I mean, like, yeah.
I love those mushroom people so much.
Me
So
too.
much.
It was great.
Yeah, and then
Speaking of liking people, I really enjoyed Dursalos, and I love shipping him with Bahrain because boy does he have an affinity for that man, and I'm gonna keep shipping them.
And now we have an official ship name. Who came up with that? Was that one?
I think it was Xeno.
That was me.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
I love it. Skrewy, you had asked me before we started streaming if there are people that I don't ship.
Yes.
I don't ship Vera with anyone.
Any ship with Vera is a crack ship.
It's a crack ship, so I don't ship anyone with Vera.
I mean, I think it's hilarious and I think it's fun, but like, actually, no, Vera.
I try to be like, look at actual compatibility with people when I ship them.
Oh, so they're not compatible with anybody.
No.
Vera ex Mellifera.
No, that's weird.
No.
They're sisters. I mean, that's a different show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I was thinking more as a self-love thing, but I guess you're right.
Yeah, no, Vera can't love herself.
That's true.
Too much trauma.
Too much trauma. Yay.
Although we are getting a little bit more of a glimpse into that trauma. We're finally learning more about Vera's backstory, and even more was revealed in this episode because Petra got a little bit more information on
Just a little more.
Petra's estates.
They're here. We're so close to them, Skrewy, and we have
And
to
you're
come back.
Yeah, but you're heading in the opposite direction.
Well,
so,
for now, but we still have to come back to the Druid Circle to get back to the Qintao area.
Unless you find one
Unless
further
there's a
to the
druid.
west.
That's true.
Yeah, unless we find another druid circle.
Is there
If.
a druid circle in Burgos? We don't know that yet, do we?
The closest one was in Kodre.
Or Parthenae.
Okay.
Or Parthenae.
Parthenae.
There was one in Parthenae.
I mean, we could find
I don't
one
wanna deal with the
in
witches again.
Protus.
Yep.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Unless
we
they
could-
destroyed them.
we could
If this
take
is
out
the
those witches.
only time we pass it, what's Petra gonna do? Is he gonna do anything?
Not gonna
Well,
tell
he's most-
anyone, apparently.
He's gathering up information.
Mhm.
All he has is names and where they are.
Yeah,
and that
and
they
where they
sell
are
art.
is
and that's it.
nearby. and it might be the only chance we ever pass by because
You know what?
there's a very good chance we could jump right back.
And we've lost our in with them because what could we have said? We could have said, hey, we have this amazing Kudre painting that we're looking to sell to you guys who are art dealers. Any interest? And now we've lost that in with them. Damn it.
Well, we didn't know then.
I know.
We made a shit ton of money off of that painting for what it was worth. I don't feel bad about it. Like, that sucks, but like, as much as Levette's not heading this investigation, as curious as she is, that inn wasn't really what she was looking for.
Ooh, I'll tell you what though. Archie had an interest in painting. We could try and negotiate an original Archie painting.
It's like selling elephant paintings.
Well, once again though, I believe, and Beardy said this, it's not just artwork. It's magical items, it's artifacts.
People.
It's artifacts, all that kind of stuff.
We already sold all that snake shit from set, didn't we?
But I can make magical items.
My money
Yeah, but
is
they would
on
probably
you.
want legendary items kind of deal, you know?
You mean the thing that you all have?
We have all our
I ain't
weapons.
giving them a fucking hammer. That was a gift.
You don't have to give it to. You just have to be like, hey, I have this.
Would you
god
mind
hammer.
appraising this for me? And Riz is just like, I know everything about money.
I just peeked into the party loot and I don't know what I was expecting. It's 32 kopeshes and 5 bottles of vodka.
Vodka has been in there since what, like Moscova?
I was meant to sell the kopeshes when we were.
What the fuck is a
At the shop.
kopesh again?
It's a type of sword.
The Serpentes had them, right?
Oh,
Yeah, the
why didn't we
Muggings did.
sell those?
I think we were just doing too many things at once.
Gotcha.
Where the hell are
Because
you
I-
guys?
Oh man, so did you guys actually sell all that set gear?
I think so, because I don't
Everything
think any of us
except-
took it.
I don't remember
Okay.
selling it. I don't remember getting.
I don't
it.
remember
think
selling it,
We
but-
got distracted because Marcus
It was
was
like-
dying.
Yeah, I don't
Yes.
remember seeing it in our party loot, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, you're right. I remember we sold everything in our party loot a few games ago, but I
Yeah,
don't remember.
But I don't remember seeing those, because...
Yeah, we never revisited it after it was described at the end of the
Pretty
episode.
Sure. I mean, I made the items. I was fairly certain they were in the party loot.
I don't
so
know.
if they're not in there now, I'm assuming you all sold them.
We probably sold
They
them on
would've-
accident, then.
That's a shame.
Oh well. Evil snake
Oh.
god.
Ah,
Who I thought for sure was the thing that Curla was cursed by. Ah! It was either that or that which hungers. It was those two I was, like, down to.
the clue was clear. It was in the name. I mean,
Yeah.
hunger and that which hungers, but I didn't pick up. I wasn't expecting that.
Ah.
Because it's too obvious, right?
Yeah. Well, no, I thought the Ammon was too obvious, so I had guessed that it would turn into a different deity, but I wasn't thinking that which hungers. Anyway, we're getting off track here. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's all in the past, and we have a lot to talk about in this episode.
Sure
like
do.
the awkward conversation between
Where we
Petra
planted
and Riz.
seeds.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad about that because I feel like I
I really didn't want you to be scared, Skrewy. Like,
No. Okay, I know. Okay, there was a couple scenarios that were running through my head. He was gonna get a stern talking to, like akin to
they were going to slap
I
your
see
wrist.
everything in my vardo kind of deal.
that was a
They-
good one.
Yeah.
and
I don't see everything. I know that everything that
No.
happens.
there you go.
They are very specific with that statement.
And or a physical kind of like taking or metaphorical taking by the ear and be like, you do better.
And it was kind of a little more subdued than that, huh?
It was. Maybe that's because I had. Wow, what does that say about my fucking childhood?
Did that make it even more devastating? I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Oh my god, that was the worst thing that my parents could ever say to me.
Mm.
Holy shit.
Well, you had that talk with Riz, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
They
He
still have
already
a threat
felt
in
like
there.
shit. Yes.
But they did ask you, like, what your intentions were. They tried to see from your point of view first before they threatened
Yeah. Agreed. And that was. Petra meant well, and it didn't work the way he wanted it to, which I think that's a theme for him.
I'm so
No.
sorry.
That's his thread.
I
He
just-
means well.
I just
Doesn't always work the way he
I
wants it
just
to.
find it weird to say I meant well when you're talking about torturing someone.
See, this whole thing has been funny to me. I've been just really watching this with amusement because my experience with a lot of D&D groups, what Petra did is not this beleaguered of it. I mean, like, most people be like, that's fucked up, dude, but like, to like, still be on it the next day is not normal in my experience. And I don't think that anyone's in the wrong for that. I should say it's not like I think that Petra is being that people are being too hard on him, but compared to what I'm used to, like a lot of D&D parties just kind of exert their power where they feel necessary, and it's just kind of an accepted thing, and we have such strong values about it in this group, about certain things.
I mean,
Well,
this
it's
is a
really
real
just
world
not-
to us.
Well, yeah.
But
Yeah,
also,
but we still didn't know that guy, right? Like, it's fucked up. It's. I think it
Sounds like
mostly
Mr.
comes
T.
down to just that there wasn't anything to be gained from it. I feel like for Levette, for me, that's the main thing that makes it super fucked up. The fact that he punched a dude in the ribs and then healed him, and then the guards took that as a cue to torture him more, was just kind of like a messed up series of events that happened to a guy we don't know.
Yeah, and that's where and Petra's along the same line, thinking along the same lines of that. Now he was trying to not physically injure them, but give the illusion that he was.
But it didn't really work out that way.
But it didn't work out that way at all.
And yeah, like I
And
said,
now
I'm not.
And now he's
Trying
made
to
it
keep it.
potentially worse.
Yeah.
And,
because like
Yeah.
for Vera, the reason why they had a problem with it is literally just because it was someone who was weak, someone who was defenseless.
yeah.
If it was someone that
Oh.
they didn't, that they think deserved it, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, hell yeah, keep doing that. Stop laying on hands, though."
Like,
Right.
actually beat them up.
I
Like-
have no basis for comparison, but I think it's one of the good things about this D&D group is that we do have that kind of
Oh yeah.
investment in the world and in the consequences, and that we do revisit that stuff, and that it does inform really interesting character dynamics.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean,
Overall
the fact
competence.
that it's been this point of reflection for Petra is really cool and interesting. It's just so unexpected. I was kind of surprised to hear Petra still apologizing about it the next day and feeling so ashamed, because I thought that it was going to be like, I can't unpunch him now. Well, I mean, which is kind of literally what you did try to do, but
Yeah. Pretty much. And I would say that it definitely was as you said, it's a revisiting of of what he thought the military was, and re-examining who he was, and he really doesn't like that. He doesn't like the mirror.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's fair. The fact that and I guess there is a lot of reflection to be had just in the fact that he fell back into old habits real quick.
I think it was also that he was surrounded by the Proteans. They was surrounded by pretty much you fall back into old bad habits.
Yeah, you know what I think is interesting is I feel like I wonder if it's not so much an influence of the practices that he used to have as just kind of the peer pressure of this fraternity, you know, the soldiers, of just being like, it's not so much that Petra feels like, oh, well, I used to torture people and I'm just falling back on that, as much as, well, I don't feel like that's right, but everyone else seems to think it's okay.
And that
Hopefully-
leads...
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, those are some of the topics that Grem has just raised lead into the conversation that happened a little bit later in the episode, and we're jumping slightly out of order, but I think it segues nicely to talk about the conversation along those lines between Petravian and Vera.
It takes a step.
Yep.
So, thoughts on how that went,
Well, I am interested in how Petravian viewed the conversation between himself in Vera and himself in Risen. Like what he took away from that.
Did you take away the same message? From
It was
both
it
of
was
them,
like
or-
having a conversation with two different with like one parent and then the other parent, and they
Are
have
we the
different.
parents of the caravan?
You are
Oh,
mean,
no.
a little bit.
Hasn't Vera slightly been the mom a lot?
Vera's been a mom for a while for the group.
Just not a very good mom.
Just not a good mom. Call me
Like
daddy.
they both have this. They're both really good parenting types. Like one is,
A murderer.
how does this make you feel? Well, how does this make you feel?
I'm the one with a literal
Have you learned
child.
from it? Have you grown from it? Good. Pat. Here's a Werther's
Guess I'm
original
busy
pat
then.
on the head.
Oh, I am
the
a
other-
Werther's original person, aren't I?
Yeah.
You know what the weirdest thing though is that Vera is the youngest. I'm pretty sure
In the
of-
group,
of
yeah.
everybody, right?
Well, I mean, the
Probably.
same thing happened to Soul, where they were put into the situation of being leader of the group, and they're like, I am a
But-
teenager.
But
Oh,
Sol
what's
was
the
the relative youngest. Vera is not as relatively
Actual
young,
young.
but actually physically the youngest.
Petra
Still in
has
her
been
20s,
in
right?
this in the what do you call it in the fraternity dude bros for the past so many years. He never really grew up, I guess, or never had to really face the the consequences of his actions. So he's learning that sort of thing. He's growing up at a very old age, and Vera is the type of parent that, well, you fucked up.
That's it.
End of story.
Mhm.
Pretty much, you fucked up. Did you,
Don't fuck
How
up
you-
again.
don't fuck up again?
Yeah.
And I haven't forgiven you. I'm still pissed off about it. I still love you, but you
Maybe.
fucked up.
I
Do
found
better.
The line from Vera that really interested me, and maybe you could both speak to this, was
Yes.
the idea that you're not sort of allowed to forgive yourself until someone else forgives you. I think I'm getting
The
that one.
scars are gone.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that scars don't go away until they deserve to. I think was
I
how it was
know.
worded.
It's
Yeah.
so
Which-
fucked up!
I know. I saw Kenny's face when I'm making like the same face at that moment. Like, wait a minute. Oh, my God.
Vera,
Oh my
you
God.
need therapy.
Did you say therapy or lots of bees?
God
bees.
damn it!
Vera, therapy.
There a bee. There is a bee.
Therapies.
So, being on the receiving end of that, Skrewy, and then on the giving end of that, Xeno,
Mhm.
thoughts?
Oof.
Let's see.
Or
Appropriate?
Xeno?
Yeah, go ahead.
For Vera cares about Bertravian and wants to lead him like in the right direction on this, but also is trying to figure out if this like religion is even something that is becoming of him. Like if this is something that he can do or not.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he picks up religions like trading cards.
Ah.
Ouch.
Well, see, that's the thing.
I mean, it's true though. Like
hurts
Vera
so
is the
Petra's-
high priest of her own faith. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, and Petra's comparatively extremely casual about religion.
Filthy casual.
Odd as a paladin, but sure.
I mean, it is odd as a paladin, but he's like at least he's consistently religious. He just
Yeah.
sees faith a little more fluidly. Where Vera's like, "This is my deal."
Here's a. Oh, what was it? So if you had told Vera in a different way about the Eden worship with Mellifera and also Soul sooner, what would have happened was Vera was going to get a book from the Holy City of like a list of the chapels and say, "Here, this will make your life easier. Just start from the top."
Damn. Riz over here like, I can help with that.
See, with
It's gonna
I
involve
know
you
with the
cutting
soul
your
thing,
arm.
it's not even that he necessarily wants to be of that. He just wants to get it going so it can
He
like
was just told to do
sustain
a
it.
thing, and he likes to do what he's told.
Which is not a bad sort of.
No,
person,
I don't
really.
say that as a negative quality, but Petra does. He's the kind of person who needs orders, and he seems to find satisfaction in fulfilling them.
He wants the serotonin from being told good boy.
You completed the quest.
What's interesting to me.
I didn't say
is-
those. Oh, we're talking about D-Liv already?
I will be curious to see if Vera's not objections, if Vera's concerns about Petravian's polytheism turn into any sort of tension between Vera and Riz, in terms of Riz is putting ideas in Petravian's head and leading him away. I will be curious to see if anything comes of that.
I don't see any issue with Vera thinking that Riz is quote unquote tainting Petravian's mind about that. I think it's more of if another one is added onto the list, Vera's gonna be like what's the point? Why are you even here?
I gotta know. I'm curious. What is Vera's feelings towards Riz in general? Is it just like we work together?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
They don't have anything like negative to think about Riz, but like literally they were a mercenary that we picked up, and they don't really connect with them at all.
Wasn't originally a mercenary. It's just y'all hired me as one, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a fortune teller.
But did you want to? Oops, sorry.
I was just going to say, I think Riz kind of follows the same feelings towards Vera as they see you as the boss of the situation. They don't really feel like super connected to you, but they respect you because you have like a goal in mind and you're gonna get it done. And that's very respectful for them. And also,
both see each other as that sassy bitch.
yeah, you're just that sassy bitch that I go to work with. We stand at the water cooler next to each other, but we don't talk.
I like that description. Was there anything else that Xeno or Skrewy want to add about their conversation as Petra and Vera?
I mostly just
Well, he's go ahead.
no go ahead.
He's definitely going to. He doesn't want to. He wants to make sure that he's okay with Vera, and that Vera's okay with them trying to help Soul out. And he wants to make sure that Vera knows that. Well, hope this is for next session. He's going to explain. I don't care about a religion for Soul. I just want to help them by getting their religion started. So it's like I am looking forward to trying to explain that. And the consequences.
I was mostly excited about doing the Scar line because that's one that I was
God
working
damn
on.
it.
You've been saving it forever.
Yeah.
I am.
You've been saving that?
I'm
Yeah.
so mad my character is not around for that because I'm never gonna forget it, and I have no excuse for Levette to be like, aha, that's what it means.
That was an excellent line, excellent moment. I think all of our jaws dropped a little bit at that. So well played.
Oh, thank you.
I would just like to probably make a clip later of just me and Grem freaking out in the background. Well, like I'm probably gonna devise the video of just you and Skrewy talking, and then just on the top, just me and Grem being like.
I'm looking forward to a highlights reel of just like strong reactions from people in various episodes.
Skrewy, did you pick up on that at all, or are you too busy just being like, oh shit?
Vera mad at me.
On them going crazy?
No, on the
No,
Scar
that
comment.
specific line.
Oh no, I fully absorbed that comment, and now he's like, oh shit, has nobody forgiven Vera yet?
I don't think that was the point.
Yes, I accept that, but I also recognize that they haven't forgiven themselves because nobody's forgiven them yet. But I can't forgive them for that because I wasn't there. But if I figure out what happened there, I could forgive them. Then they can forgive
$20
themselves. And then
says
they
they're dead. Whatever this person is that you're alluding to, $20 says they're dead.
Baron
Probably.
forgave them, but I mean, obviously that wasn't enough, or that wasn't. Yeah, or that doesn't speak to the same situation. Interesting. I'm looking forward to learning more.
Me too.
Likewise.
Every time we unlock more of Vera's non-existent backstory, it's just like a little
Pour over it.
bonbon I get for the day.
Oh, it's we get a little bit more, and then we just pour all the way through it, and just think of all the different aspects. And
Also, I'd like to
Was
say
there-
we had a lot of killer RP at the end, like the second half of
yes,
the session. It was
So good.
a lot of really good conversations.
Mm.
And we'll talk about that a little bit, because coming off the heels of the Petra Vera conversation, I beg your pardon, the yes, the Petra Vera conversation, we had an interesting encounter between Vera and Levette. Regarding
That was
Petravian's-
legit my favorite part of the whole session. It was so
Yeah.
funny.
I can't believe you said that.
Petravian's obsession with Saul.
That
At
was
least
so
as far as
funny.
Vera sees it.
I don't know where to put my hands.
I am interested. What did you think about that when I started talking about that?
Do you think so low of me? I mean, why? Do you think people are just obsessed with Soul normally? Does Vera think that?
First of all, people are obsessed with Soul. A lot.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they
He's
were
got a
the
point.
main
I
character.
can see that.
for-
They are not the main character of season 1. We were
No.
a group.
So literally, I think Vera saw like this kind of action before in Levette in first season, and it's
Right.
like, oh, maybe this is the same thing because Vera knows Soul isn't a god, so why would
So worship
Petravian
must
want to
mean
do this?
something else. Yeah.
This isn't a judgment on Soul. This is a judgment on
No.
Petravian.
Okay.
Yeah. No, this.
If it's any kind of comment on Soul, it's only that they have a broad appeal.
Which is good for starting a religion.
Yeah,
Yes.
I thought it was very funny because Vera's like, Soul did that. They started the religion. Soul and Baran are really good at talking to people.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I was like, because I was thinking that a little bit. I was like, just please don't say that. That's exactly
Well,
what
that's-
the answer is.
The irony
gonna
of Soul
try.
having been the perfect person to start a religion for Soul and not being around to do it is,
I know.
is delicious.
It's awful. Don't worry, I'm working on the other world. It's fine. I'll take care of them first.
Yeah, at one point it just came to my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna run with that. That seems fun.
And that just led to the hole just kept getting deeper and deeper because Levette came back with an interesting revelation of her own. Grem, do you want to address that and maybe Kenny get your reaction to that?
Go on, Grem.
Yeah,
Go on,
that one
Graham.
was a little off the cuff as
Go
me as a
on,
player.
Graham.
I'm gonna open with that comment. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that much of a surprise that Levette took the ending of season 1 not terribly well. So I didn't think that she heard anything as involved as Petra of like having a conversation with Soul, just kind of like hearing their muffled voice outside a door and then looking outside the door and there's no one there periodically. And so
I just get more and more concerned that, like, I don't know where Levette's mental state is ever, and it's never in a good spot.
It's always a little
It's
bit worse
better
than you
now.
expect.
Yeah, it's a little worse every time than I expect it was.
Yeah.
well, it's better now than it was then. So there's that, and I don't know. She's not in that dark a place now. But I figured that probably made sense.
Oh dear, that's
It's-
not
it's-
a high bar to clear though.
No, it's not a high bar to clear, but that's a possible trauma response. And the
That's
ending of
yeah.
season 1 is if nothing else was fairly traumatic, I would say. Even if with her attachment to Soul aside, just like so we kind of got to it with the conversation with Kurla, which we'll talk about in a second, but like she's kind of having this whole thing where her abandonment issues are resurfacing again because she had her actual family have a bunch of abandonment shit with that, and then her found family all broke up, and Sol, who was kind of the head of that, left the planet. And
My new planet needs me.
and then this new one has like a finite timer on it because we're here to accomplish a specific objective. So, but the planet thing is the point that like, yeah, I think that just kind of left a mark on her for a while. She just had to process that, the whole event.
Yeah. Me and Beardy were actually talking the other day about how even though it was a sacrificial point for Sol, that was the most selfish option for them, was to actually like go and live their life on a different planet. Because
How
they're
incredibly
fine.
fucked up it is.
Like,
Is-
best ending for Sol.
Mm-hmm.
I am interested in what Levette was hearing.
Yeah, what was Levette hearing when...
Ooh.
I mean, like I said, it was a little off the cuff, so I really don't know. And it would be because the thing is, I would rather do research and answer that with something that's like true to real life. But I imagine either something indistinct enough that she didn't hear like specific words, like I said, like a muffled voice outside, or maybe just like conversations they'd already had, or like I'm out here. Oh, hey, I'm outside. Let me in.
Let me in!
Let me in, Levette. It's raining.
Oh, don't fucking monkeys paw this shit. Ooh,
Yeah, Beardy's there, just like, interesting.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that. Okay.
I would like to go back though. I'd like to know what Skrewy's thoughts are on Vera just assuming that you just have this crush on Sol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, that's the thing. He's like, wait, no, that's not how it is. And now the fact that he's going to deny it, it's going to be even worse.
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows Petravian had a crush on Karis. Not on Sol. Come on.
Well, here's the thing, right? Is that like with the comment earlier about like, is that how people perceive Sol, and it being more of a thing for Petra, is that Petra was already extremely loyal to Sol off the bat, like before he even knew them really.
Mhm.
So it would verify that kind
And
of
Sol
thought
off
process.
the bat was already done with it.
I'm just excited for the future intervention of the thing that doesn't exist.
Yeah,
So,
like Petravian, they're gone, and it's
Like-
it should have been for Levette.
And he's like, yeah, I know, they're not here.
I know, but no
Especially
matter what you
Okay to
do,
cry.
but no matter what you do, it's not gonna bring them back here.
Yeah.
I have
The
no
rest of the
tea.
party.
I
organizes-
know, but if they're trying to do good over there, I need to help them here.
Mm.
You don't think you're being emotionally honest with yourself? You need to get in touch with your feelings.
It's like,
Lie down on this couch, close your eyes, do some visualization exercises, and we'll talk this through, alright?
It's just, I love the idea of the entire party having to talk through an intervention to
for something
Petravian,
that doesn't exist.
but specifically having to have Levette be one of those speakers.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Like,
Fucking-
Levette's
I'm
like,
just-
yeah, Soul's gone. You have to let go.
I was Levette
That's
being
some
like,
cosmic.
Yeah, I know the voices are weird, and sometimes you don't know how to get rid of them. They just happen, and you feel like
Wait.
you can even see them, but that doesn't mean.
Hey, Petravian, I was wondering if you had started that religion yet. I don't feel any better. And I know it's been like a little bit of time, like a lot of time actually, and I just want to make sure that like you're actually cut off.
Oh my god, would that be awful if they said that like in
Well-
the middle of the intervention?
oh man, that sure would be.
That sure would be
Yeah.
inconvenient, wouldn't it?
That sure would be fucking inconvenient.
Don't worry, it happens to Levette too.
So, this is gonna be next episode then, you know?
I don't know.
No, I know that Petravian's new, it's current, not new goal, but he's going to lean into the, is it the right term, the proselytizing, where you're out and proclaiming the faiths and all that kind of stuff. So that's one of his new kind of missions, is to grow the Maleferan faith grow the Eden faith, which, I mean, I don't know if it necessarily even needs that, but just to share and to then also grow the soul faith.
I feel like you just need to worship Eden at this point. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they have a shitload of followers.
Yeah.
And you did get a positive reaction from them, and we mentioned this a little bit yesterday after the episode, that during the conversation between Petravia and Riz, I had anticipated that being pun damage. The birds were going to come and, I don't know, peck your eyes out.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be
nice
too.
Disney moment where they just sat on you.
I didn't say it at the time, but I imagine they fluffed up. You just have that in your mind's eye.
So cute.
And yeah, I mean, when you gave the description of Petravian's brother that they had a stony face, and I honestly I thought that they were like petrified, as in they were stone, like they were stone shape at the time.
Okay.
And the brain didn't connect the potential pun damage until it's like, and now the birds. Oh shit.
Yeah. So sorry, Beardy. We thought you were gonna bring down the hammer.
I love that apparently
It's been a long time, okay?
I'm that vindictive that every time I do anything, people are like, someone's getting punished.
You are a sadist, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I have a question about this that came up when that was happening that I've been thinking about a lot with Eden and the responses. So like Eden responds by like having some birds sit on you and sing. What happens to the birds? Like, do they have control? Do they lose control of their minds as Eden takes the wheel, like fucking Harbinger?
Maybe.
You'll have to join the faith and find out.
Fair enough. I mean, the reason I ask the follow up was more of a assuming they don't, and the whole idea is that Eden just has to construe every detail so that those things happen at those times. Would be like, yeah, this is why you don't get direct answers, because how do you convince the badger, like in part of its normal day routine, to walk up to this dude and explain shit to him?
I mean, you have a chipmunk that just comes over and goes, "All right, buddy."
But the chipmunk doesn't know none of that shit.
Exactly.
They don't get. It's not like they get taken over. How are they going to find out?
That's an interesting topic, though, that you raise, Grem. The relationship between a creator and its subject, and what the subject owes to the creator, and vice versa, because that got touched on a little bit as well in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
In the conversation between Levette and Cola on Moira. What were your thoughts on how that went?
No.
I don't know how it went. Let's see. I mean, like, I don't know. It kind of went how I was expecting, and at the same time, it was like many conversations Levette has had with the party, where I walk away with it kind of like, not sure what I was expecting. There were some definite surprises in just how like intense Kurla was about wanting to help. Like, I wasn't expecting them to be opposed to being helpful at this point, otherwise, I would have approached them to begin with. But I kind of thought that they're going to be like, well, if you don't want to talk about it, then don't, whatever. But instead, they were so insistent that she get her feelings out.
Well,
And
I think it... Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, and just to do so with the rest of the party, too. There was definitely a lot more reassurance than I was expecting.
Speaking to that, I think some of that is Kurla trying to just be more openly supportive, and some of it is also when Levette keeps things to Levette's self, shit blows back on the party in a bad way oftentimes. So
It is true.
This is Kurla keeping everyone else safe. It's in
I don't know
everyone
what you're
else's
talking about.
interest to get Levette to
Hide
communicate.
information from us constantly.
So
Well-
it's a little bit of both.
Okay, so first of all, I told y'all about Marcus the day after he was born.
That's because of Alec.
Born?
I mean, yes.
Would you have if Alec had
Reborn.
Yeah. Would you...
Second of all,
No, wait. Would you
So
have if
am I-
Alec
am I a
hadn't
monster
have
reborn?
caught you?
Second of all, I don't know I mean, like, yeah, because what would the fucking their reactions been? They were not good, and I knew that would happen.
Okay, so the fact that you would not have Levette would not have been caught had I not as its soul.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I think about that a lot. A lot.
There was a.
I think about how if you had message soul, then Alec wouldn't have the fire opal right now.
No.
Mm-hmm. And I apologize.
You made Soul cry.
We had a side quest because of it, so it's whatever.
I have to wonder if there was a part of Levette that didn't know that Marcus might contact Soul and wanted.
No, he straight up
No.
asked if he could before, like, that went, and Levette was like, I really don't want that to happen, but if I were in his shoes, I would really want to do that, and I can't deny that from him.
Also,
you
you
think-
call your ex and you're like, guess what? I have baby now. Wasn't that
Yeah,
an interesting
right?
fucking call? Thanks.
Sorry.
Oh, Soul, for one thing, was like, what the fuck? I can't connect to him with my fucking strings. And he just tells me he has a kid and he's, what the fuck? Ouch.
Do you think Levette came out of the conversation with any greater clarity on what to do next about the Moira situation?
Some. I am a little bummed that I got forced to spill the beans about my plan to make a backup Levette, because I do think that would have been quite the scene for everybody to see play out.
As a player, I feel bad about that, but I do think that it would have occurred to Curler.
Yes. Oh no, I agree.
I got it as soon as you were like, I'm gonna make someone for, I was like, I know what's happening.
Yep.
I know what's happening.
Yeah. And I still am not convinced that that's a bad idea. I mean, because ultimately, the fact that they can't grow or learn or anything means that, like, this alternate... There's two ways of looking at it.
They're just gonna get killed one day.
Well, I mean, they don't have to go anywhere. They could just find
Yeah, I
somewhere
mean, like,
safe.
some, like, person's gonna try to steal their house, Levette.0 to whatever, is gonna try to protect Moira, and then they just die. The end.
I mean, Levette 2 would still... Okay, so this is another thing that has been, like, from a mechanical standpoint, I've been really curious about, is that when you make a simulacrum of someone, you can make them up to half their existing level. So she could be, like, 8 right now,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe in a level from now she could be level 8. And, I'm wondering, and you get all the class features up to that level that the original character had, so I wonder if creating a simulacrum of Levette comes with an automatic simulacrum of Archie.
Have fun.
Technically,
Yeah.
yes.
Interesting.
Technically, yes, but it's still
Yes.
not gonna be the same, I guess.
No, I'm sure it's not. And honestly, I'm okay with that because there's just too many implications there that I'm not prepared to deal with. I would rather make
Why
another
was I
thing that I know how.
created again?
Well, would it
But-
come with the capacity to make more simulacrums? Have you got a 3D printer printing another 3D
I-
printer situation here?
Can't get high enough level to do that, but I thought about
Okay.
that because half of my level, I get it at 12, so half
Okay.
of that will never be possible.
In terms of surprising mechanics to the situation, there was a moment when I asked as Curler whether or not Moira was capable of self-protection or whether
Mhm.
self-determination was a requirement of something, and you seemed a little bit surprised by the answer that we got from Beardy.
Yes.
Thoughts on that moment?
That sucks.
Reese's and Pieces.
Yeah, I mean, like, despite my best efforts, I guess so. I guess I did have the thought. I mean, to clarify for people who are hopping into that, I guess so that she can, in fact, will just offer herself if commanded to. I mean, one thought was, all right, I'll keep that in mind if she fucking contests me on goddamn anything from here on out. I told her to not take Muse without permission, so that's fucking being adhered to.
That is not the message that Curler or I wanted you to take away from that
Well,
conversation.
No,
Holy
but
shit.
from a mechanic standpoint,
Wow.
I'm just saying. No, I'm saying like you have this backwards. I'm saying if she if I ask her to do something and she doesn't follow, I'm gonna be like, she won't follow that, but she will kill herself. What the fuck?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I mean, has she disobeyed an order yet?
No, I'm just keeping that in mind. I'm
Okay.
keeping that in mind.
So that does impact though your.
I don't
conception
intend to
of
give
her
her
agency.
different. Yes, a little bit as a player, as obviously as a character, Levette would have known, and so it was kind of a weird moment to have that revelation. But I also probably should. I mean, it was an either-or option, so it was like a 50-50 shot at being the case anyway. So I kind of figured, but I hadn't really given it that much thought because it was not a thing I ever intend to ask her to do. So it wasn't really on the lit. I did look through the spell description, wondering if that would happen. I don't really, as a player, buy Kurla's argument that makes her less of a living thing, just less of a sapient living thing. But like, Levette working with weird primitive fantasy AI is kind of like very abstract about her understanding of like life and shit like that, and those distinctions are both more important and less important to her than they are for other people. It's more important that other forms of life are recognized, and less important that they are distinct from one another.
And I think that Kurla does view it in a sort of more practical and pragmatic sense that that self-preservation instinct is one of the hallmarks of something being alive, or rather having that self-preservation instinct and it not being overridden by anyone else's will, I think was kind of the point that they were also making, and that they would view it in more stark, less abstract terms, because that's kind of who Kurla is. It's like, well, fine, abstract, theoretical, all well and good, but we're in this shit now.
There was definitely a little bit of weirdness in the conversation too, that because it brought it to light something that I'd thought about before and kind of hoped wouldn't get brought to light, which is that the details of this spell don't make a whole lot of sense with Levette's values. Like the fact that there's some details of the spell, the fact that it has to replicate someone, etc., that just could be easily explained as limitations on her ability, but something like overriding free will seems like it's how it works, but I don't know why she would do that. But so it was kind of this weird conversation where I was like in character having to justify how the game already works. But I mean, I figured that I guess it's somewhat reasonable. I don't think that she would deliberately design them to be unable to disobey commands, but it's not like it doesn't have to be deliberate.
So it falls in with unintended consequences and having to deal with them, which is kind of a running theme with Levette.
It sure is.
I didn't say that to be mean. It's just it's one of the things that comes up. Levette has good intentions, but there are often unintended consequences. They have a lot in common with Petra in that sense.
Yeah, this is one of the few times where I, as a player, very much foresaw the consequences, like long before this became a thing, and was excited for this to be a mess.
Are you still excited for it to be a mess now the shit is hitting the fan?
I'm a little tired of it. But I mean, like there's definitely, I had Levette go through this whole physical transformation with the wings and getting her leg back and shit to signify that she had moved on, and then it was like, nope, there's still another thing you got to take care of.
There's more therapy needed.
There's baggage that's holding you back from moving on.
Which is
self-created package.
I will say.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I will say that I am very happy that Levette went to Kurla to talk about this, because Kurla is far more eloquent about the verbiage than Vera would have been.
Probably. I don't know that I need to know Vera's opinion. I mean, okay. So I imagine at this point Levette has at least caught on passively to Vera's stance on Archie. And so she's kind of not interested in Vera's stance on these other constructs because they're already demonstrably less alive than Archie, and Vera doesn't really see him as alive. And Levette, like, definitively does, so she's like, we just don't agree on that point, and getting her opinion isn't really going to inform me in any way.
Vera has a higher standing opinion on Archie being alive than Moira being alive.
Well, so does Levette. I mean, like, that's kind of the thing.
So
it's like,
like,
and
because Archie's as a construct, Archie's kind of like weird to Vera, just because like Vera doesn't understand constructs like that. It's just
Right.
something that's outside of her realm understanding, really.
Right.
But Moira kind of creeps her out. Like, just the thought of this thing that is programmed to be alive, to be this person, but it's not that person, it kind of creeps her out.
Yeah.
She was so close to having a nice conversation with Farah.
Yeah.
And then you
So
Farah's like,
close.
no, go away.
It's disturbing AF, definitely.
Thanks.
Thanks, I hate it.
I mean, it kind of is.
I mean, I did pick the two people who couldn't come back by other means. Well, okay, Marcus could actually potentially be resurrected by other means, but none of
we
the
didn't know
characters know that. Yeah. I did pick that was the Levette's thinking behind picking those two people, was her attachment, but also like they can't be resurrected. So
It was interesting that in the conversation that Levette did sort of state that they understood the distinction, that no, these were not the same people, that they hadn't brought the original people back, which I guess was that what Levette had in mind at the time? Did they feel at the time that they were bringing them back in some form?
In some form, sure. Like, her feeling is still of like, well, I just want to be able to give this person in some form or another the chance to see the world. Like, her thinking was, sure, it's not the same Moira, but if they're exactly the same, if they have the same values, they're just as caring and stuff, then this new person at least deserves equally to see the world.
So there was a moment in that conversation as well where Levette was talking about their abandonment issues and sort of asking, what will
I
happen.
didn't think that was going to come up last night. I was saving that for later.
Well, the question of which part of that exactly?
All of it. That whole side of the conversation came up because it was kind of like Curl started probing into questions about why Levette made Moira, and they were partly influenced by her fear of being alone. So I was like, well, I guess that conversation's happening now.
I mean, I find it interesting, though, because Levette kind of alienated herself from the rest of the party by doing that.
Irony.
Yeah, probably. That was obviously not her intention in that regard. For her, it was already a foregone issue. She doesn't see herself as part of the same group. Like, Riz and Curl are a group, and Petra and Vera are a group, and those are going to break off once the Deadlands are taken care of and do their own thing.
The clicks.
And like, there is the perspective that her and Archie are a group, but one, Archie is super codependent with her. He's not real, like, she can't lean on him the way he can lean on her. He's got insight from now in time, but he doesn't always have insight, especially not on her matters, because he takes her opinion on everything. And then there's also just the fact of, like, she is getting... one thing I thought would come up that didn't was that she's starting to feel, like, a lot of concern that he's just going to lose interest in her. Which, again, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but when she talked to him, that definitely did not help.
Yeah,
those concerns.
We'll touch on that in a few seconds, but I did want to ask you, Kenny, what your reaction was. It's a little bit of a self-serving question, but I'm curious to know what your reaction was to Kurla saying that, yes, they would sort of happily, in an instant, accompany Riz if they were able and if they were wanted.
I had figured that was the case. The two of you are very, very close. I don't know what Riz would do if it ended right here and now.
How do you mean?
Like if we had just finished the story and stuff, and this is where we were emotionally with everyone. I don't think Riz is planning on leaving this world anytime soon. For one thing, they still want to make more money, and their mystery isn't solved. So, yeah. So they'd probably like offer anyone who's interested to come with them, like of this group, to keep finding what was happening. I don't know where they would be emotionally for eventually going off world.
Interesting. I won't be hurt if,
I mean, Riz is
there's-
definitely a loner.
There's
Stand
some
your own fucking
conversations that gotta happen first
planet.
before
definitely.
something like that would be brought up.
Definitely.
I mean,
Well, Beardy, go
I
ahead.
can always like raise the question of like, question 1, does Riz control when they shift planets?
I don't know.
2, does that mean that Riz has or does not have the ability to bring people with them?
Yeah.
Like 3, like there's a lot of assumptions that are being made.
Well,
about
sure.
all
They've
that.
never brought anyone with them, so.
Exactly.
Presuming those assumptions. Well, yeah, I was gonna say except the horse, but I guess we kind of.
Oh,
have-
the horse.
Oh, the horse!
To talk about the horse.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the fucking horse.
Yeah,
Alright.
that does segue
Let's
nicely
talk about the
into
horse.
the horse.
How you
Oh,
feeling, Foaly?
My God, the horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know at what point my reaction started being real versus in character, and I got a little bit carried away, I think. Maybe went on a little bit too long, but it
No.
was pretty fucked up in the way that it
Thanks.
was described. So well done, Beardy. Kudos to
I
you.
appreciate
I don't
that.
know why that didn't phase me whatsoever. I think that's just because, like, Riz is an enigma of questions in general, so the fact that the horse is like this, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
And there wasn't much. There was still the uncertainty of whether or not Riz perceived them in this way, or as a horse, or as some combination, or both at the same time, or.
To
But
Riz,
yeah.
that's horse.
That's the
Well,
horse.
It's
I-
gonna take a bit of adjusting to really come to grips with that and be comfortable with the horse again.
Be not afraid.
The thing that was on my mind, that whole thing, I've been wondering, and I get this sinking feeling we're not going to find out here, is if Archie sees the horse as a horse.
That's true.
Well, we know that Archie sees Riz as Riz.
Exactly. And I'm like,
But would
if he just sees this fucking Eldritch Abomination, then I give him points for how incredibly chill he's been about
I
it.
mean, he's seen Glarv before, and that was pretty fucked up.
Yeah, and I guess he was pretty chill about that too.
If he just doesn't understand, he's like, yeah, that's just the thing that pulls.
That's a thing that
Yeah.
happens in real life, and I just
Right.
have to accept that.
Exactly. It's like, that's the thing, is he's young enough to, he's malleable with his thoughts, that he's like, oh, I didn't know that horses could look like that. You know, I imagine that was maybe his thought process, was like, I thought horses were just these four-legged things. My knowledge of horse is expanding.
So, that was the first time I had ever heard what the horse's true form was. For those who don't know, I had no idea what the horse was supposed to be past a horse.
Yeah.
So it was fun hearing, but I had to still play in Riz and be like, this is a horse.
I still want to poke the horse.
Good luck.
Did
I mean,
you?
Go for it.
So
Please
you
do.
enjoy-
I'm excited
you-
to explain that one.
That's
Did you enjoy the reactions, Beardy, and just getting to finally describe it for everyone, including Keni, to hear?
I mean, okay. So I didn't expect anyone to ever look at the horse with True Sight on. At least not for a while, for some reason. So,
Sorry.
yeah, I mean, it sort of jumped a little bit ahead of where I was intending on having Riz be in their story,
Whoops.
but it's fine. No,
It's
I
fine,
mean,
that's how this
all the
stuff happens.
All
I
the
don't-
stuff works out.
I don't think
right?
they
Yeah.
really, they don't not believe you, but they're also just like,
It's a horse.
it's a horse.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have the capacity to be surprised right now about that.
So,
Doing and learning things way ahead of time has been a product of a lot of great shit in this campaign.
It's also a really dumb horse. It's like the kid of a dumb horse. It's the kid of a dumb horse. So it's like there's generations of dumb horse.
The
horse
first one was
breeding-
smart.
Works with,
The first
you know,
one was smart, and
So
it's gotten
smart.
dumber. Yeah.
until it
how do you-
became a void of existence.
How
I don't-
do you breed an
Yeah,
an
that's what
angry
I've been
god
wondering.
rip in space-time
Isn't that
type of
weird?
reality?
Yeah, it's strange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So-
thought about that too.
Did
A lot.
did Corona see
I think he.
what the horse actually was?
He definitely saw it as not being a horse. I'll put it that way.
Okay. A
But
dragon.
I'm not gonna comment on what he saw specifically. Just that he definitely saw that as not being a horse. So when he was told that it was a horse, he kind of like went along with it. He's like, yeah, it's a horse.
Horse.
Here's a carrot. sort of thing. So yeah.
It's still like sugar cubes.
I've been kind of breaking my own rule with true seeing, which is don't ask questions to which you don't want the honest answer.
You're learning why we do it.
Yeah, you're poking your eye.
Poke the bear, poke the bear, poke the bear.
I'm just waiting for somebody to do that to another particular NPC.
Yeah,
See
well,
what
I'm
happens.
still very tempted. If you're talking about a certain librarian, I'm gonna leave that until everything else is solved. And
We
then
just
come
gotta
back
go to
that
a
for
new
my death.
library and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What if Detlef is another fucking tear in space time?
It's
Jesus.
gonna be so much-
How would you deal with that?
It's gonna be so much worse. I'm sure.
Just like we're just constantly surrounded by dead space. It's
I
fine.
love that game.
Oh my god.
It's like them, but with necromorphs.
There's some shit that Curler just wasn't ready
Or
to
not.
know.
What
but
is it?
they're gonna have
They
to live
live.
with it
That's
now.
what I'm thinking of.
But it
Yeah.
is cool, and I'm looking forward to the conversations with the rest of the party since Curler now has permission from Riz to bring up that stuff. So at some point, the rest of the party is going to be clued into the weird shit that's going on. and
Good, because I want to know.
hopefully
Yeah,
that
Riz
will
just
help.
has no idea how to bring it up to everyone. It's just like, this is just my life. I don't fucking know. What do you want?
I've got some weird shit gossip about Riz. Who's interested? Raise your hand.
Cloak?
No.
Is Cloak
Maybe I'll
interested?
be slightly more.
Cloak already knows.
Oh yeah.
Petra would be so interested.
Cloak only knows. Of course, Petra would be. Someone's secrets? Oh boy.
Anyone else have any thoughts on the horse? How would anyone else
Nay.
want to talk about how their characters would have reacted if they had seen? Would y'all have been chill about it, or panic attack would have also happened?
I think Lavelle will be pretty chill. It may yet happen. We'll see.
I mean, it
depends on what you tell us.
It would definitely make Vera not want to touch the horse.
Yeah.
Oh my
I would
God,
definitely put that down.
please.
That's the horse too.
I want to get someone else. No, I don't. I was going to say I want to get someone else to touch the horse.
I was-
to see what
I was
happens, but
thinking-
that would,
Hey kid, here's a platinum. Touch that horse.
I want to as a player, but the character certainly doesn't, because that would be tragically
I
evil.
was literally thinking the same thing. I was like, man, if we get like frisked or something like on the way there, it's like, oh, don't check these horses, check the one over there. And they're like,
Yeah.
get sucked in.
Riz just blinks a couple of times. Where did they go?
Those sugar cubes and carrots go somewhere, so.
I mean,
I feel like it's a very tame assumption. I feel like these people touch the horse and then campaign just cut to black. End of campaign.
Oh,
That could just be the end of an episode, though.
No, there was a lost condition in the campaign,
Mm-hmm.
and one
We
of
are
them is
not
touching
we
the
are not
horse.
Sopranosing this thing.
If anyone touches the horse, we cut to black immediately. Yeah,
That's a
sit for
smart
30
man.
seconds of pure silence.
and then draw
then
our
roll credits.
characters for season. For
Yeah, and then introduce season 3.
Yeah. I actually love that. The fucking art nerd
Oh my
in
god,
me
that would be
loves that.
great. We finished the entire
What a way to
the
end the
entire
campaign.
campaign.
No,
Finish
don't
the
finish
campaign.
it. We gotta be like halfway through the climax, like
Mhm.
as things are
And
building
then somebody like
trips and
falls
touches the horse, and it just ends.
Anyone know if April Fools next year falls on
Yeah.
a Saturday? Because that would make for a great non-canon
That
episode.
would
and
actually
then
amazing.
no, and then we fade in and somebody says, "Oh, you're awake."
Oh,
No.
you're
It's-
finally
and
awake.
And it's the telehouse.
Oh, God. And I'm
God.
Soul again. Fuck.
Ah,
It's a
Yeah,
fucking
so it's like I had this dream I was old and someone else. Except
It was
But I
weird.
also simultaneously a god. I don't
Yeah.
understand.
And Petra
speaking of-
wasn't doing things for me.
we're all like, who the fuck is Petra?
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Hi, Marcus. It's
Hey,
good to see
Marcus.
you.
I thought you were dead.
Oh,
hey,
wait.
Soul.
That's back when Marcus still called me a slut. Man.
Oh
Yeah.
shit!
Aw.
All the way back to that.
I don't want to
yeah,
go
do
back
it.
there.
let's not. So on the topic of sort of dreams and fortunes and weird alternate realities and tapping into knowledge that we didn't necessarily want, the stuff that went down with Archie receiving his fortune finally, and the chat that ensued about that. Who wants to field that? Beardy, Keni? I mean, you were the instigators of that moment.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
mostly Beardy writing a thing for me.
Yeah, it was a really short fortune, but basically it had to do with Archie questioning his own existence a little bit, as creations are wont to do after a certain amount of time. But he basically was concerned if his thoughts and feelings and opinions were valid. So the fortune was sort of a reassurance that he's a real boy, if he chooses to be.
It
So
didn't seem so reassured.
No,
I know
not
for a
really.
lot of people's fortunes, they were written at the beginning of the campaign. Was Archie's written at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
I am interested in what Vera's would be, but I just don't see Vera ever wanting a fortune.
Asking it. I don't know. Maybe if we like, we've got shit to go through yet.
I mean, yeah, I've got Vera's right here.
I was actually really pleased to
says
find
bees.
that Archie had a fortune. I kind of was
Yeah.
expecting him to just not get one at all.
I was worried about that too. That's why I
And
wanted to
so-
poke the bear.
Yeah. It was,
So thoughts on how that conversation went, Grem, especially the wham line at the end.
I don't know what I did wrong. I'm trying to be supportive of a boy.
What was the?
He called her master.
Yeah, and I'm like, I
Oh.
didn't.
Always means that Archie isn't fond of Levette in that moment.
Yeah, and
I mean, like, part of me was like, oh, can't hurt to talk to him, huh? Great. Look what fucking happened.
Yeah, I was very confused. I was like, I think he literally just said, I'd like to be alone. Why are we doing this?
But that was, I mean, that's what I said.
Yeah. I just let that happen. I was like, you know what? Whatever's happening is happening.
I didn't say force the topic. I said double check. Do you want
Yeah,
time to
I
think
did
about
double
this,
But
or
he
do you
had
wanna talk
already
about it?
said he wanted to be alone.
Had he said that?
Yeah, he
He
did.
just said he had time to process.
Right. That doesn't mean he wants to process it by himself necessarily.
He
I
left
assumed
the
it did.
group.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But I,
like
don't
it when
know.
people are clear about what they want and what they don't want. Otherwise, people end up hinting and then get disappointed when they don't get what they wanted, even though they never said they want what they wanted specifically. But anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Now
And
he's
while I
mad
feel
at
like I picked
Levette.
Well, I feel like
Is
I picked
he?
up in the hints. I think that Levette's the same mind, at least, of wanting communication to be clear at all times.
I mean,
So-
I like that you're all reading into the fact that he called Levette master as him being mad at Levette.
Oh, I'm not reading into it that way. It does generally be
Scares me.
indicative that something going on that's wrong, and I feel like I poked the beer. Like, I feel like I poked a little too hard.
Poked the bee.
I do
Yeah.
like the difference though, the fact that Archie does keep certain things to himself, and that he
Mhm.
does keep secrets. From I remembering that from a conversation with Curler way back when.
Mhm.
Still don't know what that secret was, but the fact that Archie has that capability and Moira doesn't, I think that there is a nice juxtaposition there, given that they're both questioning their identities and their senses of selves, and one of them
True. But
who
this
is
is
kinda
kind
more
relate to
human.
The
is
thing we were
less-
talking about before, but
Mm.
on that. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, but at their core, they're very different kinds of beings.
Yeah. Something that I thought about bringing up with the conversation with Perla regarding that I didn't ultimately, because I felt like it wouldn't be in character for Levette to say it out loud, to kind of put the target on her back like that, and just to even it seemed really petty in her mind. But part of her frustration with the simulacrum is also that she didn't build Archie, her grandfather did, and she's been trying to live up to that. And she was like, "Oh, I made a thinking thing. Finally, I might have actually crossed that line, and in a way that we can kind of bring back the dead." And then it's like, no, it's just a cheap imitation. And so she's got this sense of like jealousy and kind of, what's the term? Like, she's got a lot to live up to yet.
Inferiority complex.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
realize that Archie never worked before you picked up that
That's
sphere.
true. That's something that she's not going to think about very much, because she doesn't really think of her contribution
There was
in
something
there.
special about Levette that caused that sphere to work and come to life and create a living, thinking, feeling being.
And that got talked a little bit about in Mythelion, I think.
Yeah, because it's
Maybe.
it's a desert power.
Shut the fuck up, you're dating us.
Oh!
Brilliant. Well done.
I do wonder if that's which hungers is what that secret ingredient was, though. I mean, like, he's still walking around now, but maybe he just got enough god juice to be alive for good now. But I loathe the idea that was it. But it's
Well,
possible.
it only takes time to find out, I suppose.
We will see what happens.
But there's also the thought of Petra's brother.
That's
Yes.
true. And Curla's father being in the same area at the same time. At least vaguely in the same area. Like, it wasn't
Yeah.
by centimeters or
Oh.
anything.
This
No,
is
by
they
mile.
limits you up to
By
a
mile.
mile, so they're within a mile of each other in the
They're-
same direction. So
yeah.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Turns out they've
so
never
I-
even met. They just happen to be in the same general area. Nothing,
Yeah, they live
nothing,
in the same-
nothing weird going on with it.
No.
Yeah,
Okay,
same
but
apartment
if-
complex.
So if we get closer, does the pinpoint? I'm guessing the pinpoint gets narrower and narrower.
Not
The
necessarily.
distance gets smaller.
No, it's
Yeah.
measured by miles.
That's true.
Okay.
I mean, even
So you
then,
just
it's not
get the-
necessarily. It doesn't actually state that specifically in the spell.
Okay.
Hmm.
It just says you learn the location of.
Yeah, so I would just know.
So
Like,
it doesn't say
they're
that
in
you
the-
know the exact distance to. It says you know the location of. So it. Yeah.
We're
So it's
playing it
kinda weird.
along since I've never been to this place. So.
Right.
Yeah. I can't tell you the name of the building since you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
so.
Once we get there, I'm sure I'll be like, I've been here before, fortune teller bullshit.
That way.
I'm very curious to find out what connection there is between the two, if indeed there is a connection and it's not just a red herring.
That'd be
I
odd,
mean-
wouldn't it?
I feel like
Fascinated
that
to find
it's
out.
just that they both could be living in Protus. Like, it's, from what we've been told, the biggest city in the world.
Mm.
So it's more than a mile across, I would assume that means.
Yeah.
But
it's
still-
definitely more than a mile across. Yeah. It's
But a mile is still a huge chunk of even a large city, so it's not unreasonable for them to have no interaction with each other whatsoever and just be in this massive city at the same time.
This is true, and we still don't know the identity of whatever sort of higher power or powers or something has been manipulating and messing with the group for the entire season,
Mhm.
and it's not entirely impossible or even unlikely that that manipulation would have included putting these two characters in the vicinity of each other without them
That's true.
being connected.
I know who
but-
the bad guy is. It's
Who?
Beardy. He put them there.
You did it. You
I
got
did it.
it.
I cracked the
We're
code.
gonna go
Bonus
find that
XP
bad
to
evil guy,
Riz.
pull off the mask, and Scooby Doo this shit.
I do say, if my guess is correct and they're both in Protus, I do think that there is probably at least a potential implicit concern with Kurla's father being in Protus. That doesn't seem like a place that he'd be super safe/welcome.
Well, half orcs, no, they're not.
Yeah,
Correct me
exactly.
if I'm wrong, Beardy, but they're not keen on orcs or half orcs in that neck of the woods.
So it's complicated, right?
Right.
They have a strong sense of xenophobia
Right.
in the
Sorry,
Protean Empire,
Xeno.
but that's specifically
pretty scary.
regarding Proteans versus non-Proteans. And
Right.
to be a Protean, you pretty much just have to be a citizen, right? And there's lots of ways you can attain citizenship. You can be born into citizenship, you can be adopted into a family and get citizenship, or you can serve in the Legion for 20 years and become a citizen. So
So yeah, Petra
They-
was
they-
most definitely a citizen.
it's not that they dislike orcs and half orcs; it's that they
Right.
dislike non-Proteans.
Which
So,
he also
um,
qualifies for.
but also I think I kind of explained they're more pragmatic about race than other groups in the world. They don't hate a group because they're not human. They value them for their specialties
Well, here's my question.
to almost an unhealthy degree.
Hmm.
As in, like, oh, you're
You're good for a thing.
this race, therefore you're good at this, you should do this and not anything else. So they essentially hyper specialize people,
So-
kind of against their will.
They're not so xenophobic as to like imprison someone for being an orc, but are they more likely to be harsh about infraction to someone who's not from the country?
Yes, anyone.
Yeah.
Barring, like, completely irrelevant of race. Yeah.
Right,
If you're
right.
if you're a foreigner and you fuck up in their town, you're done.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's
They have no tolerance.
kind of my thinking, was that, like, not necessarily just caught and tried for existing, but it just seems like we're gonna want to check again, I think. And if he hasn't moved from that spot, then it might be something to be concerned about.
How
Well,
many?
you guys are moving too, so that's kind of going to be difficult.
How many
Well-
sessions before we get put into prison in Proto?
Let's see. Let me figure out how long it's going to take you to get
Get to
there. I
Florida.
figure
So that plus 1.
it might be like 5 sessions, maybe. So
I
maybe
feel like
4.
that's really high.
Well,
Yeah.
Skrewy, you touched on thoughts on your brother a little bit, finding out that he was quite what was the word?
Stone-faced?
Stone-faced.
He wasn't. You weren't sure if he was petrified or not. Pun
Yeah.
Not intended, genuinely. But what are
Ooh.
your thoughts now?
Genuinely
on-
not intended.
What are your thoughts now on finding that he is in Protoss and possibly near Kurla's father, but there might be a connection there? What are your theories on that? Do you think there's no connection
Oh.
at all? It's just that the
No,
fact that
Yes.
they're in the same
no,
city?
no.
Three
I,
theories.
I think. I think.
Three
there's a great
theories,
connection.
please.
I think both Petra's brother and Kurla's father are both. Hold on. Sorry, they're gonna continue on. We're just gonna ignore that.
Perfect.
It was me all along. I'm the child.
Good job.
Thank
how,
you.
I like how you're now spending this checkpoint time to roast the Skrewy's child.
It would be an episode of Check Please or an episode of Checkpoint if there wasn't a cameo from one of Skrewy's kids.
Yeah.
I believe that potentially both Petra's brother and Kurla's father are enslaved,
Interesting.
and that's why they're in such
Interesting
close.
theory.
Why they're in
Man.
such close proximity to each other,
Okay.
because Kurla's father would be a foreigner. I know Petra's. It's already in the wiki, so it's out there. He was adopted,
Right.
and he only knows a smattering of the correlation of his adoption to his father's service record. So I'm curious, did Petra's brother, in the whole issue that create why he was adopted, did Petra's brother then also get adopted but enslaved? So, and why he has such, potentially why it's a stony face, and maybe they've had just a really shitty life, and I'm gonna come in there all Mr. Happy-Go-Lucky, and oh god, and oh shit.
Now,
You
Oh,
worried
this
he's not
poor
going to like
kid.
you now?
I
What
forget.
an interesting theory.
What
Thank
was
you.
the description for his brother? Was it stony face or was it stone face? That's two very different things.
I don't
Right?
remember my exact
Verbiage,
I
wording
don't
at this
remember.
point. Yeah, my verbiage. The idea was that I was insinuating that he was an Oriad.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about
Okay.
all.
Okay.
But you can read into this as much as you
Well,
want.
that's why when Petravian was like, "Oh no, what could have happened to him?" and Riz was like, "Yeah, that's it." Just
Yeah.
walks off.
So
Any more
I'm
that we
curious.
want to say on that, Skrewy? Oh, go ahead, please.
I am very eager to find them, and if they need help, help them. If and bring them along and get them out of their situation if need be. Hopefully, they aren't going to attack us.
They would never. They're your brother.
Yeah. And we know
Yeah.
that Proteans aren't militaristic or antagonistic at all.
At
so-
all.
And we know that blood-related siblings are not a fuse for disappointment.
Oh yeah.
Boy.
No,
Oh,
blood-related-
boy.
Blood-related family always works out great in this game.
Oh, yeah, perfectly.
I
Oh,
mean-
perfectly well in
True.
this campaign.
For like a group of people that's always like, "Oh, found family is like where you actually find bonds with people." I can't wait.
I mean, Rose was nice.
Oh, that's true. Rose was nice.
Yeah, Rose exists.
Half sibling though.
Oh, that's where you get the good part.
Yeah, Daddy ended up being a good person.
So on the topic of Petravian and characters that we haven't seen much of or any of, but there is one character that came up in this episode, connected intimately with Petravian. Sounds weird when I say it that way, but there's a character that came up connected with Petravian, who we haven't seen in a while, and it was surprising to see them again. And of course, I'm talking about Blue.
But did we?
Did we see Blue?
Did we see?
But
Blue?
did we see Blue? With Petravian's abysmal perception, it's Blue. It can't be anybody else.
It sure is.
But it's a block of green jello. What else do you need? I mean,
Yeah.
well, the last time I looked, that's what the Blue was.
So Xeno, what was your motivation to throw that in?
Just for
having
fun.
a laugh, or
If Petravian wasn't going to talk about Blue, I was going to talk about Blue. That's what happened there. But now I also love the
Chaotic
fact
good.
that maybe Petravian now has some random ass slime on his shoulder.
I got a slime on my shoulder.
Well, if that's the case, what the fuck happened to Blue? You know, we got multiple slimes here.
I
Blue
broke
has
you.
been. I don't know. Blue,
You
that
killed
is.
Beardy.
I'm sorry.
Blue is a. I don't know where Blue has been. Petra's been concerned about other things,
Yeah.
and well, he figured Blue was off to its own devices. So, oh boy.
It's really hard keeping track of all these things. God ceremonies and people and a horse and good times.
Beardy, what about you? Your thoughts on Blue? If you can.
I just had the entire musical of Legally Blonde flash through my brain, but specifically set in a fantasy world.
I would pay good money to see that musical twice.
Me too.
I think We Are the Tigers fits at least season 1 group the best, personally.
Yeah. Well, that's just because there's a character that almost has a name like Vera.
Yeah, well,
Farrah?
not just that. I think you could easily change around the situation to fit.
Oh yeah.
What happened?
So, okay, I'm not gonna get. That's so far.
We're
Soul is Riley.
Yes.
There you go.
What?
What? Just keep going.
What?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah. About. Sorry. The question for me was what?
Just thoughts on Blue suddenly making an appearance.
Oh yeah.
Or maybe
totally
making
Blue.
an appearance, but
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
slime making an appearance anyway.
Yeah. Absolutely. Totally Blue.
That is the statement.
10 out of 10 Blue.
10 out of 10 Blue. Would Blue
I'd
again.
give it a Blue out of 10.
Blue.
Yep.
Blue.
Blue.
Blue's
Blue.
Clues.
Blue's Clues.
Blue's good score.
Is it safe to say that regardless of whether or not this slime is or is not Blue, that we haven't seen the last of them?
Yeah, they've not gone the way of safest birds yet. Give them time.
That's so obscure.
Zephyr's
That's
bird
a
or
secret.
Incredibly obscure.
or
That's just
Soul's
you
bird?
guys.
It's a deep
Beauregard
cut.
Q Kazoo is with Livette. The little zombie skeleton is with Livette.
Mhm.
Okay, I
Little
know
skeletal
this.
bird.
It
Yeah.
died, then it came alive again, then it died. It
I
was
don't know
very
what Livette
unclear.
did with it, but
Yeah,
it was in
I
her
have
hands
it.
last.
I totally still have it. Yeah, he's doing fine. Taking good care of that bird.
Took
Zombie
it out,
bird.
out of the workshop one day and smashed it with a rock.
I love that the party are such hoarders. Are there still cigars from the telehouse, or those are
Probably.
Yeah.
I think
I
we
certainly
gave...
hope you guys have sold or smoked those by now.
No,
I think we
you
gave
gave
Oh
them
no, I
dragon,
still have
didn't you?
them.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, it's going to
I
be
know
dry
we
as
gave
I'm
some
fuck.
to
saving
dragon.
them. I actually am saving them for like whenever our fucking climax comes around.
Wait,
They're
didn't
gonna be
you
It's
so
an
dry.
Independence Day, don't
least
you?
one.
Right? It's sort of a, hey, this is our victory jam, not until the fat lady sings. It's an Independence
Kind
Day
of.
thing, right? Grant?
That's
Kinda.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. That's good.
That's a good use for them. So, all right, we met a new NPC. We met several new NPCs. We have Abraxius. No, Ambaxius. Ambaxius? Oh, goodness, I fucked it up. Beardy helped me.
Abaxius.
Ambaxius of Salobriga. And we met Naomi.
Naomi.
Naomi. Did I
Na-
say- what did I say?
Naomi.
Naomi.
There you go.
Don't you know me?
Thank you.
There, I said it.
I'm going to write that down and add it to the
Yeah,
wiki.
and I-
Naomi.
And I realized that I did not describe the character's visual
Not very much.
aspects all that much, but you also hadn't really gotten a good look at the
Well,
character
she was
yet.
a hooded character. It's fine.
Yeah.
I gotta look at her hands more than I gotta look at her face.
I'm
Yeah, it's
very
true.
curious about the hood and the hands, the bandaged hands, and what the story
Mhm.
is.
Yeah.
If this were like a visual only storytelling medium, then I wouldn't even think about the bandaged hands. Like that's just kind of an anime thing people wear sometimes.
That's true.
Mhm.
Too soon for theories on that, then?
I don't know.
Do we
Go for
already
it.
have a...
Maybe it's
If you have
blue.
one.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So,
Take the bandages
You're-
off and it's just green slime.
oh god. So
Ugh.
there's the visual inspiration for the character at least.
Thank you.
Anyway.
For that, Beardy.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
I think she's kind. I don't know why she wants to look into our carriages, but I mostly said yes because I want to see what she's gonna do.
I don't trust
Yeah.
her, because she's a kind, polite, nice NPC. She must be evil.
What is with you guys?
Also, she was
Just like
helping out.
Tertullus.
She was helping out everywhere, and that's kind of weird. It's like, oh yeah, she's
Mhm.
doing all the jobs. It's like,
She's an apprentice. She's learning how to take care of shit.
so she says.
Jesus
the-
Christ.
I'm jaded in distrusting her, and I'll tell you why. Because the last time I saw a young, eager apprentice running around a caravan, doing lots of jobs and trying to help out and be helpful, it was Pringle with Lars Dance. So...
Oh, right. But I actually did help out, so...
Of course you did.
I think that I don't suspect her. I think it's been a while since we've gotten a waifu in this campaign.
She's like 16, though. We shouldn't label her
Well,
like
okay.
that.
I know I was very on the fence about using the term, but it's not it's meant as a purely just endearment term. We haven't had a sweet girl in a while.
It would be interesting. That's an even worse phrase.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I was juggling. I was like, she's just a sweet girl. She's just the young sweet
She
girl.
baby.
She baby.
She baby.
I get the same vibes as Karis or like, I mean like,
I mean, it is a similar
I don't want
voice.
to, or Rose maybe kinda. I don't
Sorry,
want to say
a whole
makes a
lot
lot
of-
of noise because she's a lot more.
I don't have a whole lot of
Stupid.
voices that I could put on that.
That's okay,
differentiate
Beardy.
for each
Makes
other.
a lot
Oh,
of
it's not even
noises
just
a
because the
lot.
voices. It's just the same kind of tone of being like.
I'm a naive person who wants to see the world.
Let's ruin
Yeah,
that.
but being, I don't know. I mean, like, how do I describe it? Just
She's
kind of
supposed to
calm
protect.
and well balanced overall. I mean, we haven't interacted with her much, so I don't want to say anything about her mental stability because that's yet to be determined. But like, yeah, the same kind of vibe as them of just I don't know, nice helpful person.
Lord knows we need someone more mentally stable to balance out the rest of us.
At least one.
Possibly several.
Yeah.
I mean, how well put together are the lightning blades? Are they all like nice and mentally healthy?
Look, if you let me take leadership.
Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Hard no. No one
I'll
is
just-
ever taking leadership as a feat ever.
I will just have to build somebody that is mentally stable.
Oh, now hold on. I thought that you meant, leadership in a general term in terms of I don't know, stepping into various shoes. What is leadership as a feat?
Oh, it lets you take a bunch of NPCs as follower goons.
Ah.
But it's an
So-
outlawed one.
Yes.
So in D&D 3.5 and in Pathfinder, which essentially copy pasted 95% of that system, there was a feat called leadership, and it is in a lot of communities discussed as being the most banned feat, the most house ruled banned feat in the game, because it is the most easily exploitable and broken system in the game. If your character has a high charisma, and is like renowned or known and owns a house, like there's a whole list of things that like you can check off these boxes basically, and if you match like enough of these boxes, you can get a phenomenal amount of free, essentially just meat that you can throw into fights. And it's really, really crazy and really, really overpowered because you get like one person who is one level lower than you,
Mhm.
and then you get a bunch of people that are like half your level or less.
Mhm.
cannon fodder.
Which, I mean, just realize that, like, it means that if you're, like, a level 15 character, it means you have a level 14 character as part of a feat.
And then you also have a level 6 party just following you around.
Yeah, and you have a whole party of level 6s that you build yourself, and it's crazy how easily
Kailani
broken
would
that
be
becomes.
into something like that. Would have worked great for the genie thing.
Oh, yeah.
I had no intention to exploit it in this campaign when I had brought it up, but I have exploited in the past, so I totally understand your reasoning.
Yeah,
That
like
sounds
it is easily the most broken and
It's
unbalanced.
also so much
feat.
fun.
It's like for a single, like if it was something like you had to like multi-class into and like really invest in, that's one thing. But it's like it's a feat.
Yeah.
You get one every odd level. It's like what the fuck.
What I'm picturing is a
Balance
bard
this.
being followed by like a group of paparazzi and like
Well.
crazed fans as their
If you
group.
guys recall all the way back in season 1, you met Biff and he had this monk with him.
He was a monk.
Kevin
I think I
Sorbo?
ask this every time you say that.
Yeah,
I thought he had a
called-
big ass sword.
No,
Hold on.
punches.
His
You're
name
talking
is
about-
on the wiki.
You talking about Kevin
Yeah.
Sorbo?
Yeah, Kevin
Oh.
Sorbo.
my
So that was actually Biff had taken leadership when he was a PC,
Yeah.
and that was his cohort
Huh.
Cole,
companion guy.
I believe was.
Yeah.
Cole?
Cole, yeah.
Cole? Or
Cole.
Cole?
Cool.
Yeah.
Kull.
Cool.
Yeah,
Right.
and he was a monk.
Monk. And that was Biff taking leadership
Return
as
to monk.
PC. Excellent.
Yeah.
I understand how it could be a fun feat, but I definitely think it doesn't work with like a group dynamic.
No, like
Hmm.
if you were to run like a solo campaign, like just like one DM, one player, then it makes a lot more sense.
Well, I think it could make sense. It can work with a group dynamic if the cohorts and stuff are treated as like belonging to the whole party.
Maybe I should say that again. I don't think it would work in our setting as like
No.
how we do this game.
That certainly not this season, and like, yeah, I mean, not for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, but
It's,
just,
it's
like,
outlawed
imagine
for a reason.
You
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
You have one person in the party who plays like say a fighter. So in
Right.
combat, it's like okay, on my turn, I move forward and I attack, and then the next guy comes up, and this is like the bard that took leadership. It's like okay, on my turn, I'm gonna do this ability, and then my cohort's gonna do this, and then my companions are gonna do this, and it's
Hmm.
like combat ends up becoming one person's actions, just dominates everything because they have so many characters they're
Yucky.
playing.
Mm-hmm.
So it just snowballs and goes crazy very quickly.
I mean, I already find combat tedious. Ugh. No, thank you.
It's kind of the problem that Karis had when Karis was initially a PC, is that the character, which was designed to be complicated, ended up being like more than half the actions of that party that she was in were her and her minions.
I don't know that we would have been alive without her and her minions, so I appreciate it.
Oh,
Yeah, for you
shoot.
guys, it worked out. Yes.
Mhm.
We
But,
we
yeah,
were
for
a
the-
work first. Oh, a very weak first season party.
I don't know about very weak. I don't
Soul
think that's
didn't
true.
do shit until like level 11.
I don't
Soul
agree with that either.
inspired competence and courage.
It doesn't
Yeah,
do that
that's-
much though.
That's a pretty big bonus. It really is.
It's
It
just
really
one.
does do a lot. Yeah, that's what makes a big. Those a 1+1 magic item is 2,000
It
gold.
is.
It's not just
It was
one. like,
deathly
gets better as
boring
you
to do
level.
combat. as
Okay,
that,
boring.
though.
I'll agree with, but it's
Yeah.
certainly effective.
Add a lot of bonuses to people.
Plus, Soul got like the first like 3 or so kills. Like the first few.
Yeah, everyone
fights
else
were all
wakened
Soul
him
got the
down
last hit.
first.
I know.
It was just like 1
I-
HP left.
When we fought, I think it was the Weavers. I was like, is it gonna just be a theme that Soul gets the final hit in every fight?
That's
Uh,
Petravian.
That's Petravian.
Yeah, that was Petravian. He took that roll really hard. He drove it right into Cole's fucking head.
Youch.
Yup.
So, does anyone have anything else they want to add before we launch into our final topic?
No, I'm good.
I will say, just going back to the going to prison joke for Proto, who is the most likely to cause this?
Vera, no question.
Vera?
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
It's between me and Petravian, I feel like.
I
Because
think
Petravian's going to
Petravian-
say something wrong.
Petravian would be my number 2 pick.
Yeah.
We're not
But
with them.
I feel
We
like
don't
there's
know
a-
who they are before. They were just following us around.
Hood up,
Welcome.
head
over there.
down.
Yeah, I feel like there's a pretty big gulf there. It's like Vera way at the top,
And
and then
Petra.
down quite a bit.
Well,
betrayed
we
you.
got lucky that Soul had a great diplomacy check in Parthenae, because I was pretty sure we were about to start killing people if they had taken away Vera's weapon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was
And I mean,
this
like-
close to a murder scene.
I think
Yeah.
Petra might get us into some trouble, but not like imprisoned trouble. I just like oops, goofball trouble. I feel like by having said that, I may have jinxed it, but that's how, based on past experience, that seems to be like what would happen. Whereas I feel like Vera will just be like, well, I know this would fuck us up, but I can't not do it. So,
I mean,
see you tomorrow, fuckers. I'm going
I'm-
on a murder spree.
I'm excited to get everybody put in prison.
Yeah,
Me
I know
too.
you are, and that's what I'm terrified of.
Yeah,
Thanks
especially
for
when
that.
you think that, Kurla's dad and Petravian's brother are both already in prison. I mean, that's the best way to get them out, right?
Right,
The
yeah.
only way to reunite
Yeah.
with them is to get arrested with them. That's
Obviously,
Perfect.
they're both already in prison. We know
I
that
love
as
this
a
plan.
fact.
It's a great plan.
possibly go wrong. I'm
Nothing.
excited to be a part of it.
Let's show up there with a body.
Yes! The body of
The governor.
Galerius.
Galerius.
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect. It's like, hey, hey, we have this dead politician.
we
That's
we
it.
show up and say we brought this for you.
Shit, I have something for this.
I think the message is clear. We lay it down.
Weekend at Bernie's it or something?
I have something that's perfect for this that I've been sitting on since episode 0. Oh my god, if we need... Oh, I'm not going to spoil it, but if we do need to simulate a murder, I've got something.
Go.
Got something in the back of my sack.
Nice,
That's amazing.
Nice.
So, shall we go into the final point?
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because it's a great point. It's a fun
Yes,
point.
it is. Who wants to start this?
I'm gonna let Foaly do that.
Okay, it's a single word on our sheet, which is art.
Yeah.
It should be 2 words, which is fan art. We got our first fan art. How cool is that?
It's
It
wonderful.
was very fun. We
Thank
would-
you
Shout
so
out
much.
to Riddle of Lightning for all
Yes.
the fan art for us.
Yes,
It
that was very
great
fun to
fucking
see.
Time.
We literally
This is-
spent like an hour just
After
fawning
game.
over it, just loving it. It's so good.
It's so good.
Going through the favorites.
Oh,
And they were posting them as the episode progressed, but I don't think any of us, we were all obviously
we were playing.
Busy, yeah.
we were playing, so we didn't see this whole stream of them until afterwards. But there are some amazing ones on there.
It's so funny.
Goodness, the creative. I like the horse noises. Pet me, and it's this big like massive void, and just me rocking back and forth.
I think my favorite one is the Sextus Risen one.
Yeah,
where
is
is this a clue?
No.
No.
It's so good.
It's
Oh, I
so-
love it so much. It's so
The
good.
good horse.
Petra in a Santa hat.
That is very cute. I think that was the first one.
Mhm.
Riddle did.
Mhm.
I don't
The
know
good
how to
horse with
people.
Riz giving the sugar cube.
Angry bee
Yeah,
noise.
the angry bee noises.
Well, if you want to see this amazing art, Riddle of Lightning, all lowercase, no spaces, no underscores. Riddle of Lightning on Twitter is where you can see some of this art. Just look for their replies to the @CheckPleaseDND Twitter account, and you can see all of their wonderful art. And while you're at it, you should follow @CheckPleaseDND on Twitter.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
I think we did pretty good today.
I think so
Mhm.
too.
Yeah.
So, we wanted to thank all of you for joining today. Just a note, there is no stream on Wednesday and no stream on Saturday or Sunday of this coming week. So no 4th, no 5th. I believe that was the right days. As we're taking a little break, December's going to be a tough month for us, but we're going to try to stream as much as possible. The week after we will be streaming, and then during Christmas will be a questionable time. We'll keep everyone updated on Twitter of what's going on with that weekend. So, until next time, we hope you enjoyed rolling with us, and we'll see you again. Bye, everyone!
Thanks so much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.